What's up, guys? In the last video we added textures to the player and all that good stuff. So if we go back up in here to the player and start a new level and do like 3, we've got textures, we've got animations. A little bit of a goofy thing here when we jump and fall. We have little things on the left and bottom here. That has nothing to do with actually the movement. I did make a slight adjustment, which we'll look at in a second here, just to make it a little bit more readable. But otherwise, it has nothing to do with the adjustment. All it does is, or the reason for it is the jump texture and the fall texture that we use have, it might just be the fall texture. Looks like it's probably just the fall texture. If it is, that makes sense too as well. The fall texture, just the way it's loaded, it's kind of off kilter or something, whether because the texture map that we use is bad or our math was bad or something, but it's pulling the bottom and the side here. It has nothing to do with the thing slightly moving anymore. We fixed that already. So, um, and just to confirm, the thing I did was instead of recalculate with speed again, we just used collider and X and Y because ultimately that's what we use to draw the character at the end of the day. So if we, when we're in that same frame, we use the same collider we used to draw to determine where the image should be. That makes sense. So make sure we use this. I added a comment here. Remember to check if idle frames could have been null if we get an error here. So let's go back up. So in the last video when we did this, we made it so that we don't load a solid image. We always load a texture. However, this could be null. So if it's null, in a case like, for example, if we use our designer player, it's going to be null. Then we're going to get an error here. I tried to toss it in a try catch. That didn't work, so I just tossed it in a null check. So it's fine. So if idle frames is null, or is not null, then we'll load it. If it is, and our player, like our actual player that has to be drawn is for some reason loading, then it's going to toss an error, and that'll tell us that there's probably an issue loading the idle frames rather than an issue with that. So then we come down here, and that's kind of what this is pointing to. Just like, hey, heads up, if there's an error here, there's probably an issue with loading idle frames. So anyway, with that said, what we're going to do today is I want to add saving names to our levels so we can see them, because like if I hit start here, hit play, they're all default name, which is not very cool. So, let's go ahead and fix that. We can't fix it for existing levels, like we could change their name, but I want to make it better. So to fix that, we need to create a text box so that when we do save a level, we can actually give it a name. So first things first is, before we do anything else, just get out of the way, go to your I input and add a handle key press. And once you do that, go to your player and handle key press, same thing, implement it. You go to IGUI and right click implement. And the only input it's going to take, I should have left that open a little bit longer, is a keys key. And the point of this is, instead of trying to handle multiple key presses, it's going to handle one at a time. So, because keys down is being handled every frame, key is being handled when it's being input. So to make that happen, go to game window, find your window key down, and use this for each. So for each input handler, we're going to do this. And then I put comments here. Use to handle input every frame, e.g. movement. Use to handle input when an input occurs, text input, other UI. So something to note, if you do both of these on the same thing, so let's say player does implement something in key press like that, handle key press, you could get double input. So just a heads up there. I'm regretting using the interfaces the way that I have, as much as I have right now. I like interfaces, but not in the way that I've used them. I think object inheritance would have made more sense. But anyway, let's go ahead and get set up here with our new thing. So let's go to GUI, add item, call it entry box. And it's going to take IGUI and IInput. Okay, we'll just implement both interfaces. Okay, lovely. Lots of stuff here to get rid of and do. So firstly, let's go ahead and go to our button because our button has a lot of stuff we want. We want my visual, we want my rect, we want position, scale, we want label, we want color, and actually let's just grab all of this. So rect, position, scale, I'm going to call label text, and I'm going to make it public because I want it to be accessible by other things. My color, we're going to do text color, and we're going to do background color, and then we're going to get rid of the other two colors. And text font, there we go. Okay. Cool. And for these, the is hovered. So I'm going to set all of these to, let's see, if hovered can be false, active can be true, visible can always be true. Instead of setting these to variables, we're just going to set like defaults here and just leave it at that. Rect is my rect. Screen position is going to be position. And canvas we'll get in a second. Did I get canvas from button? My canvas. I want the string format as well, excuse me. Okay. And then for setters, we're just going to say, so for example, is hovered equals value. Is active equals value. Is visible equals value. And for the rect, it's going to be my rect equals value. And for screen position, position equals value. There we go. So now we got to do, let's go ahead and do our constructor. So let's do a public entry box. Let's ignore all that for now. We're going to go to our button again. Now let's grab the canvas, position, scale. And then let's see here, what else? We need font, text font equals null, color, text color equals null, color, or not equals null equals new color. Color, background color equals new color. There we go. Okay, so this is very similar to a button. It's a rectangle with some text. However, the text is going to be editable, and we don't need to hover or anything like that over it. So there's some complexities that are new, some complexities that are not new, that are removed. So okay. So firstly, this dot my canvas. Actually, let's do this. I believe the button starts with this. Position, scale. This dot my canvas equals canvas. Okay. And then if text font is null, we can actually grab this from button as well. So if text font is null, I'm going to do text font equals font. This stuff is real basic stuff. We've already been doing this. We've done this before. So sorry if I'm going a little fast. If text color is color dot is empty, there we go. I always forget we don't need to do it. It's not a method. So if we don't have a good text color, we'll do text color equals color dot black. If, let's see here, same thing for background color. Color dot, I will do color dot white for this. Okay. And then now we can set our variables up. So this dot background color equals background color. This dot my visual equals new brush. This dot background color solid brush. Okay, we'll say this dot text font equals text font. No. No. This dot text color equals text color. And we're not going to do anything with it yet, but we'll say draw format equals new draw format. Not draw format, string format. There we go. Draw format. Did I lowercase that in accident? Oh, I've copied it over to capital draw format. Do this dot. Go. I was wondering why it was giving me trouble here. And okay, next thing we need to do, and this is something we do every time, this dot my canvas dot register element, this, and this dot my canvas dot game dot register. In this case, we're going to be registering an input handler. This because this needs to input or handle input. Just because it implements the interface doesn't mean it's going to handle it. So I've got those. Let's go ahead and copy the draw from button. We're not using is visible check, but since it's always referred to as true, we can do that for now. And then if we ever want to hide it for whatever reason, we can. And we just gotta rename these text font, text color, draw format. There we go. So that's mostly it. Let's get rid of this. Don't handle input every frame. Handle input here. We're gonna work in there next. Don't do anything on click for now. We're not gonna have something where it's like you can click in the middle and get something. No, we are going to be just doing a you type, it goes to the end, you hit backspace, is one for now. Don't do anything on hover. Don't do anything on leave. Don't do anything on scroll. Okay, so handle key press. How do we do this? So we're sending over a key, so that's fine. So to handle it, we could say, realistically, we could just say text plus equals key dot toString. That's like most basic. We hit a button, it adds it. However, if you hit certain keys, like your shift key, your enter key, it's gonna add the string value of that key. Literally, it's gonna add shift key or A or B or something. So let's take this a step further and say, firstly, and we're not gonna do a bunch of if statements for a bunch of different types of keys, but if key dot key equals keys dot back. No, I'm just doing keys. How about we do it that way? Stop back. There we go. That bugged me. We can get rid of this and this if you've done that. If you include this, I didn't even realize it till now. So if it equals keys dot back, then we can say text equals text dot remove text dot length -1, and we want to remove 1. So this is returns a new string in which a specified number of characters in the current instance beginning of specified position have been deleted. Count the number of characters to delete. So we remove the last key of text. However, this will toss us an error, so we need to say if text dot length is greater than 0. Get off my screen. Text equals text dot remove text dot length. Okay. So if it's a backspace, it's good. Since it's if we hit backspace, it's going to remove a key, then it's going to add backspace. So let's do an else. Else we do that. If it's not backspace. Now, honestly, I'm going to do a limit here. So if text dot length is greater than 0, or not greater than 0, excuse me, less than or equal to, I'm going to set like a length of 20. Then we're going to add it. However, this still doesn't fix our issue of like saying, hey, you know, da 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 da, if we press shift, don't add shift. So instead of adding a bunch of different like if shift don't do anything, we're going to do a string of acceptable chars and only add it if it's an acceptable char. Equals, and it'll just be the alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z, and then same thing for capital. Y, Z, there we go. And then add a space in case they want to add names with spaces. Yep. So if acceptable chars dot contains key dot toString boop. Okay. So yeah, that should be it as far as I am concerned here for now. We'll see if there's any other issues. We'll say console.writeLine, and we'll say this.text. We'll see what happens every time. We should be drawing it though. So did we do draw? Yeah, we did. So it should be fine. We shouldn't need this, but for now it's good. So essentially this will be drawing whatever we have, and we'll have a reference to the variable. So because we'll be directly modifying that text. So we can close out an entry box for now, or leave it alone. Let's go to game menus. Now I've already got, so when there's two places you could theoretically do this, maybe even three, is when you first start to create a new level, you hit that like create new level button. You could say, all right, name this new level you're going to create. Yeah, sure. The next opportunity is in the middle of creating the level. It's like, oh yeah, do you want to change the name? Here you go. And then the third option is when we save and exit. And actually, before we do this, one last thing I want to add, because that reminds me. We're going to do default text, string default text equals default text. And we'll say default text or text equals there we go. Okay. Reason for that is, let's say we do want to edit the name of the level, we can, but you know, maybe we want the default name to be input there, so that could be used for later. But excuse me. So for now, we're just going to be doing it the third way, where we save it. It's like name your save. So game menus. So I did a border here. So if I were actually to hit comment everything else out, do the border. If I do a play, create new level, save and exit, all it does is create a border here. It doesn't actually stop handling input, so it's something to keep in mind here for now. But you can actually see something that's interesting. So yeah, well, flip this save button, it makes it look off kilter. So this is fine size for me, I think. You know, actually, I'm curious what happens if I do that, just for quick testing. I want to make the menu, or I want to make the screen bigger before it doesn't know the new size. Haha. Okay, that's interesting. But okay, for now that's okay. So if we look here, new vector 2. So all we're doing is saying it's by pretty standard way of doing things. Screen divided by the width divided by 2 minus half of whatever we determined the width was going to be. So that would be screen size divided by 3, or the width divided by 3. Same thing for height. We just divide it by 4, so it goes 75% up. And then for the width, we just divide it by 3. So we want to do a new scroll box. This, and we'll do a new vector 2. New vector 2. Oops, not a scroll box, excuse me. A new entry box. There we go. Shoot. And we don't really need to do anything else. Default text is fine. Background color being black or white with the text color being black is fine. I don't really care that much. Just want to do position. So we need the width of this. So we need this plus. So this is its location. Okay, well, we need this. Okay, never mind. What we're going to do is we're going to take screen size divided by 2. Okay, so we're essentially going to do the same thing. Screen size divided by 2 minus, we'll add a comment here for now, minus, because it's going to be, aligned with the center of the screen still, minus half of this item's. There we go. We'll do y, and it's divided by 4, so maybe we just divide it by 3. Should be fine. And then width and height. So width can be divided by, divided by 5 maybe, should be fine. And we'll give it like 100 height. I think 100 height should be fine, or maybe 50. 75, we'll do 75. So we need this. Piss off. We toss this in parentheses, so minus divided by 2. So it's going to subtract this divided by 5 divided by 2. And that looks good. Okay, so it's not going to do anything yet, but we should be able to hit start. Okay. I don't see a background. If I type, it actually looks pretty good. Oh, it's also, the text is black. Wasn't the text supposed to be white? I mean, I thought the text was supposed to be white. Let's go back to the entry box. I hadn't actually tested all of this. I mean, a lot of this logic is like, we're putting together principles that we already know. The only real difference between this and something else is the handle key press. This is really the only difference. Everything else, so we can actually get rid of this. We know it works. Everything else is, stuff we've done 20 times already when designing this. So, oh, text colors. Oh no, text color is supposed to be black. That's right. Excuse me. Background color is supposed to be white. Is background color being drawn? Let's hide the border and see if maybe what we're drawing is getting tossed to the back of the draw stack. That would be weird if it is. Oh. Nope. Okay. And I have multiple of those, so we also need to handle that. That's not something I accounted for. That's okay. So let's see. It's just not drawing the background border for it. That's how button gets drawn. Oh, you know what? Let's go back to entry box. My rect is not being set. Let's go to button. If I remember correctly, oh man, menu's handling the rectangles. I think I need to set it on this though. That's why it was being set. So I set it here. Everything is good because the menu should be handling the movement of the rectangle after, but now we should. Yep. Okay, we have a default box. Okay, so this is good. So let's close out of this. It's ugly as shit, but it works. Okay. Which is the important part. So let's take that. Let's make this more like 40, I think is fine. I'll probably turn it to like gray or something. Oh, I like that. We are inputting. Oh, it doesn't check for space. Okay. Let's fix that tree box. Let's go back. So if that contains it, or if key no, or not if key dot key dot value doing if key equals keys dot space. There we go. So I guess we don't need to do the space. I figured the space check would just be enough. Oh, I gotta get this out of the there we go, out of that parenthesis. I just want to make sure I get everything working the way that I expect it to be working 100% here. No, we're kind of going a long time this time. Seriously? You're joking. Man. Okay. We're gonna do this. If because it's not checking, so it has to check that to actually get through the check. Well, actually, we can say we don't need to do it like this. We can say so if it's this and we get rid of this, else if there we go. Kind of stupid. I figured it would add a space as a space rather than a maybe it can't. Maybe that's the issue. Let's see. It can. Thank you very much. All right. So it's not very pretty, but it works. Okay. So it's still kind of tall. Maybe we'll make this to like, I had this set to like 12, didn't I? Tree box. You know, you can set it up how you want to. Mine's not going to look very pretty. You can make yours look better than mine. I encourage it, but all right. I'll do 16. Make sure 16 fits the 40. Okay. 40 is almost double. Oh, okay. Maybe pixels is pixel or 16 is pixels high. We'll make it a 20 tall. Just want to make sure I get it aligned with that. Good enough for my purposes. Name, level name. Unfortunately, it's putting everything in as caps. Curious if we can check that. So we can say, let's see, go back to the entry box. Means equals key dot toString dot toLower. So, okay, we can say if this dot canvas dot game dot keys down. Is that not public? Hold on. I'd say screw it for something like this. We'll just make it public and access it. I don't really care. Specifically made private. There is no real reason for that except for I didn't expect to access it anywhere else. There's no like, oh, I don't want anything else to access the keys down. It's the keys down, right? That game dot keys down dot contains keys dot shift. Now this would be the shift key, not the shift modifier key. We're gonna say if it has the shift key, we're gonna say add the normal version, else, so add the caps version, else we're gonna add the lower version. I just want to see if that works. And we're going to do keys down dot to list. We want to get a copy of it. I know it's ridiculous. All this just for some, all this for a text box. Okay, so A, B, C, D, Shift A, B, C, D. Cool. Okay. Once if I do caps lock. Okay. How do I don't even know how to check caps lock. You know what? Screw it. We're gonna ignore caps lock. No caps locks used. I could do caps lock, but I really don't care enough to do caps lock. What you could do is say, go back to game window. And there's probably an actual like accessor for like directly caps lock, but you could say on key down if e dot key equals key dot caps lock keys dot caps lock, then set caps lock set to true and then set it to false. The problem with that is you could get a reverse caps lock if you tab out of the game. So there's probably like a Windows accessor, but I don't care enough to do that. We've got a shift key working and that's all that we need. So name your level like that. So that's good. Next thing we want to do is actually save it. And again, this is after the initial logic with the entry box, everything here is just kind of free form. It's stuff that we've already done. We still want to do all this, but not yet. We want to say we'll have to do a new button. So we'll do a new button and we'll actually copy our button logic from here. But we're going to copy the width and height. So we're going to do, so let's get rid of everything from the, from this part. Oh, that was literally 2 lines of button. Okay, excuse me. Let me get rid of this entire button. Do I have like a shorter button maybe? We'll just copy the entire button over. Whatever. Buttons are ridiculously complicated to customize. Seriously, there's so many different things you can do with them. Okay, so let's get rid of everything in the x-axis, everything in the y-axis. So this is the starting point. Oops, get out of here. That's x. If I'm not mistaken, this is, or that's x and y. This is width and height, which is perfectly fine that it looks like this, I guess. Can I get these to line up? Okay. And then we'll want to save level. Button text font. What, did I pull this from somewhere else? Oh, we created a temporary var. We'll just copy this var over. It is what it is. There we go. And then everything else is fine. So the x and y, so for example, the x we want to be equal to this borders.x. Unfortunately, we can't just like know, we don't get a direct reference to it unless we store it. So we could like var a equals that. Actually, nah, we don't do that because I don't know. It could be bad. We don't do it anywhere else, and I don't want it to be referenced where it shouldn't be referenced anymore. So the x is that. We want the same x, but we want the y to be y plus this thing's height. Oop. The reason being is, the reason being makes sense. We start at the same left, but if we start the same y, it starts up here, so we add this thing's height, so then it starts at the bottom of that. And then the width can be the same width, so however this width is calculated. And then the height can just be, we'll say 50. Okay. And we'll leave it at save level for now because I want to take a look and see what it looks like. But we'll have to change that in a second. Oh, there's builders. That's something. Color has already been given to this button. What are you talking about? I'm gonna get rid of that then. Oh, well, no, not oh. Cannot convert from int to string. Oh, I'm missing a positional argument somewhere. Hold on, let me, so after the vector 2, oh, that's the issue. Oop. There we go. No? Oh, the 50 is outside. Excuse me. That was still the right way to go about it, but it was, there we go. Okay, so now I hit start. There we go. I just kind of put my things in the wrong place. Go ahead and play, create a level, save and exit. Okay, so save level isn't a very, I like the way it looks. Not a big fan of how this looks, but I wish I could, I'm probably going to add a control backspace because that bugs me, but maybe not right now. So that looks good. I mean, it looks like a level designer or a save button. I probably want to add a label to it, to be honest. Oh man, it's kind of gross. We'll do that later, maybe. I haven't added like an actual label thing here. Just like the button has label, buttons have labels, and that's pretty much it. Labels are just as annoying as anything else. So the only final thing to do would be to make this a, let's see, we'll say confirm save level. I'll make a private void. Before I actually, we'll just call it level just to give it something. Shoot. Let's go back here where save level is giving an error. Let's say confirm save level. And then this will point to save level. So we can call this one save level. And I think we don't need to pass through an object. What are you, stupid? Oh, I need to pass through an int object. Okay, whatever. That's okay, because it's looking for an int. They all are. So let's just copy this stuff over and get rid of our comments. Okay, create the save. And then we return to the main menu. Okay, so only potential issue is we need to not create another one of these. So we'll say private bool menu create save confirm save created equals false. We'll say just not confirm save create. Why is it I save create equals true, not level. I don't know where I got level from. Oh, well, hold on. We'll put this at the end. Oop. If confirm save create equals return. I don't do anything. So We could also do like a cancel button that says we destroyed it, but for now, we'll just leave it like this. If you hit the button, you are quitting. You're not going back in. You know, this isn't charity right now. We can add something like that later. It's not hard. We just add another button and tell it to do that. So the only thing we need left to do is actually like to save the level with the text. So pass that in, save. Just want to make sure. And I think we got, yep, we got 2 now to scroll instead of 1. So what I want to do is actually save the level with the name. Uh, we're gonna say, man, I apologize that we're doing it this way, but private string save level name equals default text. And okay. Box. Actually, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna send this thing back. I didn't actually think about this. We're slightly in unknown territory here for getting that reference. So we have the entry box. So on save level, actually what we could do is say, we don't need that text. Never mind, we don't need that. We have a list of, if we go back to menu, our list of elements is public. We only have one entry box here on this thing. So we say for each, what is it, IGUI element. Oh, you dick. In this dot elements, if element dot type, or well, okay, type of element element equals type of, I don't even know what I do, type of uh fucking entry box. Okay, so we can't use it like that. Say element dot get type equals type of entry box. So the cast it to an entry box element dot text. We'll say var a equals element. And well, I'd say entry box a. And then we'd say string saved level name equals default text. A.text. There we go. Okay, that's kind of goofy, but that's real. Since we're using interface and I don't want to add like text to the interface, we can just cast it to an entry box. So if the element is an entry box, we're going to get the text and we're going to set it to. If there's multiple, we're screwed, but in this case, there's only one, and this is fine. So we're going to say a.text, save level name. And before we do that, we're going to say created level, nope, dot level name equals saved level name. There we go. Let's go ahead and start. Play. Empty level. Save level. Empty level. It's definitely empty. And yeah, it is this. I see it both here and here. Cool. Okay, so we've got it set up to. It's not pretty. These things aren't pretty. I'm not very good with the visual stuff here. But just to reconfirm everything we've done, we created a scroll box today. An entry box, not a scroll box. Scroll box. We gave it the ability to enter text, have a stored value um, that we can access from other things, albeit very difficultly because of how we ended up setting things up. But we've got the entry box set up. Then we went over to our menu, and instead of immediately saving the level to default text and storing it as a file, we uh, we confirm that we want to save it with the level name, and then um, we allow the player to input it. And once they do, we get that text and we apply it to the level file, and then we save it, and then we return to the main menu, and then it shows up. So everything works good. I'm not sure what the next one is going to be. We'll probably head back to textures. I just wanted to take a break. I apologize for this one being so long. But anyway, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.